Pennsylvania man was arrested for putting stickers on gas pumps. Biden incoherently babbles about gun violence, of course, while even on the international stage is now seeing this administration for the clown show that it is. The Biden clip's going to be interesting. We'll have to see what your interpretations of what he says are. But first, Miss Monica, how are you today?
I am doing well. I'm actually looking forward to today is our first day of doing a two-part series where part number one is a little more lighthearted, and then I'm looking forward to getting into part number two for everyone who wants to dive more into the serious nature of the news in front of us today. But for the first video, we've got some really good gaffes, some lightheartedness, and return to a conversation from yesterday.
Yes, absolutely. The first thing we should go ahead and take off with here is Sonic 2, of course. So just to fill back in from yesterday. So the Sonic saga has been an interesting one. The first trailer was released. It had the most god-awful CG you could have imagined. So, like, straight up nightmare fuel. There was a huge pushback from the fan base who just wanted, nothing to do with it. We're all so accustomed to hearing that we're istophobes of some kind or that we are against this or that when we make even the simplest comment about the quality of the entertainment that's being put out. But in a rare situation, I'm talking like Blue Moon here, the director came out and he actually said, okay, we're going to push the release of the movie back a couple months. We're going to put a couple mil into it. We're going to fix that CG. We'll be releasing a new trailer. Stick with us. And I mean, it was the first time I've collectively seen the internet be at a loss of words. Like, it was amazing. So we know how the story ends. The trailer came out, looked a lot better. The movie then came out, looked awesome. Looked awesome. Was pretty good. I mean, the plot was a little generic, this and that, but at the same time, it was a feel-good family movie. It was one that kids
and that's
could
the thing.
love,
like, we can sit down and watch that movie with our entire family and actually enjoy it. It is not inappropriate humor. Nope. It's not anything.
It's just good, lighthearted fun. It really is. And you know what? Actually, I'll save this description for the next one because it really is. It really does follow suit to the original, and that is when we went and saw Sonic 2 over the weekend. It was great. I mean, as far as like, I'm not saying we're talking like Academy Award winning or some craziness like that. It was just, as far as a PG movie goes, like what I would define as a PG movie, like you said, no adult stuff, no sexual stuff, minimal swearing, and I emphasize minimal swearing, and just like a romp from the 90s, like, I'm not gonna say blank check, because when you watch that, there's actually the language in that one's a little, not that I would care. My kids, I would let them watch it, but the point is, the thing I noticed about Sonic 2, it followed that exact formula of, this is a PG movie, there are kids in the audience, and like we said, there was no sexual anything, the language was all silly, even if it was a nod to a worse word, it was a lighthearted way to say it. I mean, I think, honestly, there was one moment where someone said, what the hell's going on? Aside from that, it was a clean slate. It was the kind of movie where there would be zero hesitation to let my kid marathon it if he wanted to.
But for whatever reason...
Yeah. Oh, yes, of course. Interestingly enough, and this is going somewhere, I suppose, Hollywood was not happy about the director, his response to listening to the fans and taking their advice in order to secure.
But we don't know exactly that's what happened, but it sure seems like it.
I'll say this: it is very speculative. I follow a lot of entertainment news alongside all of the garbage U.S. politics news. And in the entertainment world, I noticed a bizarre trend when the early reviews started coming out about Sonic 2 and articles about it, which we'll cover here in a second. The Rotten Tomatoes score was at like 66, 67% among critics. Most of them just lambasting, oh, this is so bland, blah, 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 blah. It was very empty and hollow reviews. Then the movie opens. It has the biggest video game opening of all time. Has that been secured? I think that's been secured. Which, video game movies have a history of being god awful, even if they are enjoyable. I'll watch Mortal Kombat anytime. She'll watch Super Mario Brothers anytime.
Well, I mean, a lot of them we refer to as guilty pleasures.
Exactly, that's what they
because
are.
We see what they were intending to convey, even if it wasn't pulled off quite as well.
No, but I mean, you can't go wrong with Christopher Lambert as Raiden. But the point I'm making here is there was an odd campaign that had been started. It started with the low reviews, and then articles started coming out about Sonic 2, of all things. Like, if you're going to rally against something, why Sonic 2? Well, alongside all this, I know it's a lot to throw at you. Alongside all this, on March 31st, very important to make sure it's speculated that it was released March 31st, Jim Carrey said he was actually retiring from acting. He's done after this, and if you see the movie, it's like...
A lot of us didn't see that until April 1st, so we thought it was...
Everyone thought it was an April Fool's joke, but I will make sure to emphasize he released this statement on the 31st. It just went viral on the 1st. So, yeah, not the best setup there, man, but... whether or not he's really going to retire from acting, who knows? He's at that age where he could. The movie kind of left it open that he could very well still be a part of the story. I mean, he's friggin' Eggman. He should be. But anyways, it doesn't matter. The point is... This article from the New York Post, I'm bringing up right now, kind of embodies this. And you're right, I won't call it anything conspiratorial or anything, but it's a very weird reaction from the critics in Hollywood towards Sonic 2, of all things.
It is empty reasons why they don't like the movie.
I mean, it's okay to say, hey, this movie was great to take my kids to, and hey, I ate popcorn and enjoyed it. I mean, that's an okay thing to say. That's not controversial, but... Just look at this. Quote, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 review. Jim Carrey can't quit with a lousy movie. And it goes into, I mean... Okay, so it says Jim Carrey has announced that he's leaving acting behind him. Quote, yeah, I'm retiring. The actor who's 60, that's surprising, told Access Hollywood, I've had enough, I've done enough, I am enough. And that is fair. That is fair. But then they go on to say, but the comedy greats possibly final film, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, isn't exactly going out on top. Let's see what they say here. So 2 years ago, first Sonic was a surprise hit for Paramount, even after a wave of bad press said the terrifying CGI hedgehog we saw in the trailer was the stuff of nightmares.
Exactly what we were talking about.
And yet, the framing there, the bad press, but then they also acknowledge terrifying is the right word.
Yes.
It is the right word. In fact...
Well, they can't believe that people would actually change their opinions. Like, if you give them a product that they ask you for.
Point. Let me see if they've got the picture.
Because it's not like the audience hasn't said, hey, we want lighthearted, we want fun, we want... Like when we were talking about The Witcher and stuff. Yes. You know, there's a very specific audience type that knows the material so well that they will support it.
Oh, boy. Okay, so... Yeah, let me just bring this up real quick for you. This is just to really put in perspective, this is what the original looked like versus the new one. Oh,
you got the two side by side.
You can see, like, there it is right there. That's what we saw in the trailer. And that is just disturbing. And you can really see the difference between, I mean, the changes they made were minute, but they made him look like a cartoon character from the game, which is all we wanted, whereas that thing of nightmares is just there's
a certain level of you can adapt some of the characters that we fell in love with. Like, you could take a Final Fantasy film and make those characters into real life.
Sure.
You know, that would be something that I think a lot of people would buy into.
Yeah.
But if you were going to make an animated version of that character and you made them look different than how people remember seeing them in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, and Sonic has a very specific look.
Yep.
He's got a very specific attitude towards things.
Of course. I mean, he's been across various forms of media, TV shows of differing quality and style, but his character, like you said, it's very consistent.
And it feels like this author did not like the Sonic games.
No.
Like, either they did not play them or they weren't around people who were playing them.
Let's see here. So it says the filmmakers gave the little guy a makeover, and the movie made a respectable $319 million at the box office. I mean, no one expected this movie to make money up until this whole fiasco. It said at that point, Sonic should have scooped up his magical golden rings and, like Carrey, called it quits. But oh no, Hollywood's ravenous appetite is never fully satisfied, and so now we have an often grating sequel that shoves in more of Sonic's annoying animal friends. You just referred to Tails and Knuckles as annoying. I am done with this article. So, really, the point of this is he goes on to... I mean, I don't know this person, this Johnny Oleksinsky. But Mr. Oleksinsky, I don't know if you have kids. I don't know if you know what kids are or what they like. But this movie kids loved. Our theater was full of kids.
Oh, and the reactions to them,
and them like,
so little bit of a spoiler alert.
Hey, be careful.
They present the characters.
What are you doing? Which characters?
And well,
don't spoil anything.
Knuckles. Everybody knows Knuckles is in the movie.
Knuckles and Tails are in the trailer. You can
say so they present these characters, and at every time that they presented someone, the theater shouted out the character's name before they could be introduced, because they've been looking forward to this.
Oh yeah,
and most of it is our son, until the first movie came out and we enjoyed it, we didn't introduce him to Sonic the Animated Series.
No, we just got our old school Nintendo hooked up. I don't even think we've dug out our Sega Genesis yet. It's somewhere.
Exactly. So, but then when that first movie came out and we had such a great nostalgic feeling for how Sonic was, then we turned around and we're like, okay, well, instead of watching whatever other show, like family show, when he wants to watch Blippi or whatever, we watch Sonic.
Yes, now he's watching Sonic everywhere. Now he's just all about it.
Yes, because it's one of those shows that families can watch together and the adults appreciate its lighthearted campiness. And they've really done a great job of transitioning that into a real life movie.
Yeah. I think the big issue, and the way that he scoffs at how much money the first movie made, even though he acknowledges it's respectable, when you realize that no one expected this movie to make anything, and the fact that not only was it welcomed, the director and his crew were rewarded, but now they not only have this sequel, which set new records, they've got another sequel and a TV series greenlit, and the kids are going to go crazy over it. However, it really highlights a problem in entertainment and in Hollywood these days, where basically, and I think I was reading an interview with Chris Pine talking about why he didn't think another Star Trek movie could ever happen, is because all they want to see is $1 billion.
Yes.
Marvel has essentially set a standard that now if they look at your movie and they go, is that going to make $1 billion? No. Go put it on a streaming service.
Well, and the fact that they do product placement in these movies and do almost that like fourth wall break.
Oh, it was airplane level. It was perfect. You talking about the Olive Garden
go
guy?
ahead and cancel my reservation at the Olive Garden.
Yeah, the Olive Garden jokes. And we both have worked for Olive Garden in the past. I was a cook. She was a bartender / server.
And a manager.
Correct. The fact that they made those jokes, you see things and you're like, oh, that's just shameless. But they're like, okay, we're going to milk this, but in the best, most blatant fourth wall breaking way possible.
Well, because they're playing into the ideals of the family, which is what we all love. And we all have that nostalgic feeling for Olive Garden. Remember, their slogan was, when you're here, you're family.
Yeah, they're a pretty good place. Having worked there for 4 years, yeah, no, absolutely. I got no complaints about being in that industry or anything like that. But really, it's just about that whole mentality of like, this doesn't fit my niche, probably because I don't have kids. So I'm just going to bash it. But even that, I'm not even going to pin it all on that one guy. That was just an example of this, I don't know, this weird aversion Hollywood has to going against their...
I think one or two of them come out against it.
Yeah.
And then the critics are like, oh, well, we have to watch this person's reaction because they get really good ratings.
You think so?
Yes. And I think they follow each other.
Oh, well, we know about that. It's another bubble. It's a bubble they all live in.
It is. There's so many reaction videos where we've watched and we're like, okay, I agree with this person, or no, I don't agree with them at all. But I think a big part of this is bringing back a family fun movie that has legs and can I'd go watch it again.
That's just it. It's one of those things where this movie ain't gonna win awards. This movie isn't probably gonna go down in history as like a classic like certain other movies do. But at the same time, how great was it that we got to sit through something that was reasonably entertaining,
and
never preached, never set bad examples.
It was a reasonable runtime,
lighthearted fun. I would debate that it was a pinch long, but even then, it was right around that
runtime of 122 minutes.
So right over the 2-hour mark. Yeah, I think it easily could have been around 140, but still.
Yeah, they could have cut some.
They could have cut a little bit out, but at the same time, it never dragged. Right when you think it's about to, it just goes, all right, let's keep going.
And part of that was because we love that Jim Carrey energy, which is what
he was definitely channeling that 90s Jim Carrey
Yes.
energy, that Dumb and Dumber Ace Ventura goodness we all love.
Yes. I mean, that's one of the things that I would love to see more in Hollywood. You know, see more of that. Just, I'm acting to be goofy, to be kind of out there, not to make a statement to anybody, but to just have fun and to be this over-the-top character.
Which is ironic because Jim Carrey, the person, is kind of a nutbag. During the Trump years, the TDS just got to him, and his Twitter was just disgusting at times. But I think he's learned his lesson and scaled it back, and now he's just... You got to separate the actor from.
Well, and this is one of those moments where I think that he is going out with a bang with the people who gave him his start to begin with, because that's the type of acting that we adored from him.
True.
Which I think he'll see more fans coming out in support of him.
Well, he already has. I mean, he just said this. I believe it. Didn't we read that this is actually not adjusted for inflation, of course, but this is actually the largest opening of his career? I think so.
I believe so. It was either the first or the
Show,
second. No, it was Bruce Almighty.
Bruce Almighty, yes. Bruce Almighty was 68 million was its opening weekend. I think Sonic was 72 when all the final numbers came in. It was either 71 or 72. So set a new personal record for him. And honestly, you know, deep down, he has to be extraordinarily thankful for that campaign, because otherwise this would have just gone down as a Jim Carrey stinker.
Well, and it's because the first one did so well that I think this one's going to carry over.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's funny to see the side of Hollywood that's like, no, we need to be serious and we need to be activists
like,
coming out
agenda?
against.
Yep.
Exactly. Like,
where's the
that's
environmental message here?
That's really
like,
what
we're not
it
here
feels
for an
like.
environmental message. We're here to watch a talking blue hedgehog run as fast as he can. That's the plot. That's literally, if I had to write the plot, we're following on a spunky blue hedgehog who runs as fast as he can.
We're here to make it so that when we go out for a walk, our 5-year-old goes, I'm going to go Sonic fast.
Sonic fast. He's not going to go, you remember what Sonic said about, the decaying greenhouse gases? And is anyone listening to me here?
So, yeah, if anybody is...
I don't know why our son turned into Ben Shapiro there. Sorry.
Because he is. He's a little bit of a Ben Shapiro.
So, anywho, well, that wraps up what we had started to talk about yesterday. Had to finish it and had to say...
So our official first entertainment review, I believe, on the show.
I mean, I guess. We probably should have just put that whole spiel in its own separate movie. Or its own separate review. And maybe in the future we will.
We probably will.
You
guys will see a short, just the Sonic review.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we probably won't do Sonic. We've said about as much as we can say about that, but movies coming out. She hasn't seen The Batman yet. That one comes out next week on VOD. So, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I can say I've seen it, and there's a backstory to it, and she's aware of it, but I've really only seen about 60% of it. Long story. And the first thing I said to her when...
From what you've seen.
From what I've seen. Well, no, not even from what I've seen. The first thing I said to her was, okay, this movie is long.
Yes.
We have to dedicate like 4 to 5 hours.
I was like, let's just sit down and hammer it out. And you're, no.
It's like, let's go see it. And it's like, you can't.
Well, it was like when we finally sat down to watch the...
Snyder Cut?
Snyder Cut.
Well, the beautiful thing about the Snyder Cut was it was cut up into chapters.
Yes.
So you had a nice brisk 45-minute... It was almost like a mini-series.
I know, because it was like almost the like the Scarlet level where they'd give you the interlude where you knew where you could pause it so you could get up and do bathroom breaks and grab new snacks and then get back to it.
I loved it.
It was like mini sprints instead of a marathon, and I really feel like they should, if they're gonna make longer movies, that's how they need to do it.
I think if anything, you having seen the Snyder Cut, I think you should have to watch Justice League, the Joss Whedon version. I think you don't appreciate how good you got it now.
No. After we watched the who's the
Red Letter Media, half in the bag for
so,
it.
He had me watch the Snyder Cut, but then he had me watch the Red Letter Media, and he's like,
they went through beat for beat the original movie.
You'll see all of the differences, and I think about halfway into that, I was like, I can't because it's
Oh,
like
man.
watching this other movie, and
Oh, it was so
it was
bad.
so bad.
It was so bad.
And I've walked out on movies that you've tried to show me before, like the Tommy Wiseau.
The Room?
The
That was
Room.
the worst. That was the worst. Let me tell you, people, if you have ever seen The Room, it is fantastic. Fantastic. It is literally the biggest, schlockiest pile of cheese you can ever eat.
No. No.
But the problem is, the movie is composed of two things. Hammy, amazing, quotable Tommy Wiseau scenes. In between, super awkward, almost physically impossible sex scenes.
Like not even, these are not humans.
No, it's like,
interacting.
is he humping her belly button? It's literally like, what is going on in this scene? Is this supposed to be them getting it on? But the point is, she would leave the room, miss the key quotable scene, come back and go, oh, geez, they're doing this again? I'm like, well, you missed the good part.
Well, and I was like, come on, this is like the worst acting possible. I mean,
What a story, Mark.
and I made you watch The Four Rooms, which is like really
Four
bad
Rooms is
acting, but
pretty
it's like
good.
super corny.
I mean, the first room
ridiculous.
and a half were like, yeah, but everything after that was great. Oh my God, we got to focus. We got to get back into it. Okay.
Yes. Less
Where's my
away
news
from the
hat? There it
entertainment
is.
and more onto what's been happening.
Well, to be fair, this is we're gonna hybridize entertainment and politics with these next few because they are pretty silly. First up, a man was arrested for allegedly putting sticker criticizing Biden on gas pump. Quote, I did that. Now, you can see this picture here. It's literally just the simplest thing, the simplest message. It's Biden pointing, and it just says, I did that.
But
And
that's hate speech.
These have been popping up everywhere, and libs have been losing their minds. Like Biden supporters, I shouldn't even say libs. Biden supporters have been losing their minds at the sight of this. They've been trying to campaign, like organize events to campaign to get rid of these stickers. They've been calling, doing all these crazy things, and it's literally just a sticker saying, I did that. But it's that simple.
And they're gonna come out. It's vandalism. I cannot believe that they do this. Okay, it's a sticker.
It's a sticker.
I mean, how many times have we seen stickers on things?
Especially on the gas pump.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to ignore the ads, why would you care about a random sticker someone put on there?
Yeah,
But,
I mean, it's like when people graffiti bathrooms and stuff. Yeah. I
Even
mean,
then,
I'm not gonna.
you don't notice unless you look. Most of the time
Exactly.
you walk in, you do your business, then you get up and leave.
Is it right to graffiti? Absolutely not. Are there sometimes when I laugh at the things that people put up? Yes.
I was going to say, some of it's quite entertaining. Quite entertaining. So,
As stupid as it is.
as silly as it is, yes. A man in Pennsylvania faces charges after being accused of putting stickers blasting President Joe Biden on a gas pump during an incident caught on video. Thomas Richard Glazowski. Mike Wazowski, 54, of Manor Township, has been charged with resisting arrest, disorderly conduct, harassment, and criminal mischief.
I hope when I'm 54 I get arrested for that.
That'd be great. It says the clip appeared to show Glazowski shouting, I did that, that's what I did, while pointing out the stickers to the officers at the scene. Moments later, he ran towards the gas station, but an officer pulled him to the ground and handcuffed him. Oh boy, I don't want to watch this
Handcuffed
video.
a 54-year-old
For putting a
for
sticker.
putting a sticker on a gas pump.
Land of the free, everybody. According to charging documents, a gas station worker alleged Glazowski sprayed the stickers with something, making them more difficult to peel off. Oh,
Or it could have just been a really good
wow.
sticker.
It could have just been a great sticker. I don't want to mess with this. I think he put something on it that made it so it won't come off. So let me see. It's a sticker.
Horrible vandalism.
Horrible vandalism. He was reportedly Glazowski.
I wonder if they go after the people who write on the bathroom stalls with as much gusto as they
Well,
go
of
after.
course not. They're not bashing Joe Biden. Glazowski was reportedly upset about the price of gas and President Joe Biden. Well, you don't say. Stickers of Biden pointing his finger with a caption that read, I did that, were seen at gas pumps all over the country as surging prices hate working class Americans. And then you can see there's another little variant here. Dan Eberhardt tweeted it. And it's the Biden one, and then there's one of Trump pointing up, and it says, Biden did that.
Yeah.
I have seen so many variations of this, and it is hilarious. We actually saw one. We were driving through Wilson's Mills, North Carolina. We just stopped for gas, and right there.
Yeah. And it was at the end of last summer.
It was. That's when
Way
this whole
before
trend started.
the war.
Yep. Way
But-
before the war, way before anything. And, I don't think they have it in this article. I did see there's a very interesting chart floating around which is showing the price of gas because as we'll get into with the inflation story when we get to it, of course, they're trying to blame Putin and Russia for everything. But this chart showed the price of gas, and it showed the point at which it spiked and kept spiking.
Yeah.
And, it said, is this where Putin invaded Ukraine? Nope. Biden's inauguration. Remember, day one, he shut down the Keystone Pipeline, which led to speculation that completely just destroyed the prices of gas. And as Connor
and we'll cover the inflation and
Yes,
issues in the second video, but
we will.
this is just the more lighthearted side of
this is just so ridiculous.
54-year-old arrested.
Yes, 54 years old.
For disorderly conduct. That
is insane, honestly. I'm sorry, there's a I believe a clothes dryer in the background. I was just watching the microphone to see if it's getting picked up or not. If it is, I apologize. It should stop here shortly. But yes, we had to cover that one because the fact that they're arresting this poor guy over a sticker. Yes, it's vandalism, but really, like you said, really? Are they going to go after graffiti people who write on the walls with a Sharpie? No.
Well, I mean, so who's the few people who are still behind Biden are the ones who are so extreme with defending.
Oh, of course. It's a cult.
No matter what he says.
Yep. It is at this point. If you are still trying to blame Putin or trying to defend Biden or the entire administration for what is happening in our country right now, take a look in the mirror. You are in a cult. Easy.
Well, and watch the videos of Biden and what he says.
Oh boy, that's a great segue. Let's watch a video. Listen to this. This is from the Gateway Pundit, and we actually watched this clip yesterday, and we both had very different interpretations of what he said. He was talking about gun violence. I'm not going to read the headline or anything here, just in case you're listening. I'm just going to play the clip. Let's see if we can hear it. You ready? Let me make sure my audio's set up, and here we go.
So the only outfit in the country that is immune. Imagine had the tobacco industry been immune to prostitute being sued. Come on.
Okay, so Monica knows what it was that she thinks he said, but I'm just going to hold on really quick. Hold on, wait a minute.
The tobacco industry been immune to prostitute being sued.
Okay, I can now hear what she said, but in my opinion, he said prostitute bean soup. That's what I heard the first time. Imagine the tobacco industry been immune to prostitute bean soup.
Oh my God, and I laughed so hard when you said that because I'm like, okay, because I think I watch more of him live. I've gotten to the point where I can start to translate. You know how?
Oh, jeez, how sad is that?
Well, when you
turn on the Biden filter,
when you hang out with someone who,
oh no, I get it.
Who has issues? You do. You get used to it, and you start to kind of predict what they're going to say and what they're looking to convey, versus what they're actually saying. And I think the hardest part is that the people who hold on to support for him don't see the real problem behind him making these gaffes and making these issues.
Well, of course.
And the rest of us can't stop laughing. And it makes them even more upset because they feel like we're not being compassionate towards him. We're being compassionate towards him, but he shouldn't be a leader if this is the way he's talking.
He shouldn't be the leader of the free world when he can't make it through a sentence. And the rest of the world is picking up on that. We'll get to that here in a second, but oh my God. So, okay.
And we'll go into more specifics about ghost guns, too, in the next video.
In the next video, we'll get into the heavy stuff there. But to prostitute bean soup. So, Biden interpreter, what was said there?
So, he's talking about the gun regulations in the industry and this idea of ghost guns, which, like I said, we'll discuss what exactly those are. But he's saying that they want to put in regulations for this industry.
Right.
They're saying that the gun industry is not regulated. The gun industry is heavily regulated.
Heavily regulated.
But he wants to compare it to something that people will get overly emotional about, like the tobacco industry.
Okay.
And you've seen it. People who are addicted to tobacco have like a very strong feeling towards tobacco.
Well, of course.
People who are against it, which the majority of us now are against tobacco.
I mean, that's how addiction works.
Exactly.
We have to intervene.
But the government intervened there to put restrictions on the age and everything. He's saying that rule should apply.
I'm pretty sure you do have to be of a certain age and go through rigorous background checks and all these. I mean, granted, it differs from state to state. I will say that there's been a huge surge in constitutional carry across. I think we're up to. I think last I saw it was something crazy, like 23 or 24 states now have passed a constitutional carry.
But here's the problem with this like analogy
Sure.
is that when you want to compare it to the tobacco industry being able to be sued for the product they put out, the guns aren't malfunctioning.
Right.
The tobacco, they lied to us about the cancer rates and the additives and the things that they put in it, and that's why they were sued for the quality of their product and the things that were put in there because they had to put warning labels on it. When you buy a gun, even if you buy a kit for a gun and put it together, and there's a certain part to it that you have to register for, when you do that, you expect the gun to fire.
You would think.
If the gun was misfiring, then you could sue the gun manufacturer for the defect in the product.
Yes, that is how they normally work.
But they're acting like gun violence is the same thing, like letting people buy guns is the same thing as letting people buy harmful tobacco.
Okay, well, that's ridiculous. Granted, I mean, we know if there's one thing that Democrats will never, ever understand, it's gun ownership. Because they think anyone who wields a gun is some kind of crazy terrorist, while what's going on in the heaviest gun control cities, Chicago, New York. I just saw a very tragic story of a shooter in New York, even though, I mean, how would he get a gun? They have the fiercest regulations ever, which of course leads us back to the beginning, back to the Second Amendment, and the thought that, I hate to break it to you, but the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. The only thing that keeps them from going nuts in places where there is not strict gun control is the knowledge that if they pull their piece out, 20 pieces are going to get pulled out right back at them, whereas places like this, they can go nuts. Places like Chicago,
we'll
New York.
cover more of like the gun control stuff in the next video.
Of course.
But the fact that yet again on a hot button issue for our country, he's supposed to be coming out rallying support.
Oh my God, come on.
And what he's doing is making the rest of us laugh at him.
I mean, he's making the whole world laugh at him. We actually have. And before
with
I bring
his
this article
prostitute bean soup.
Yes, with his prostitute bean soup.
We'll probably get a red flag for saying prostitute.
I have, no what, never mind, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to go into that rant. We're just going to go ahead and hop here. Look at this. This is from Newsweek. Saudi TV savages Joe Biden as senile in comedy sketch as relations hit low. This is a 30-second clip. Let's see what... we have subtitles here. He's waving. He's pointing. And there's a Kamala Harris body double who might be a man. I can't tell.
Yeah.
Oh, it's English.
Today, we're going to talk about the crisis in Spain. Yeah, we're going to talk about the crisis in Africa. Yeah, Russia.
I'm just going to pause it real quick. If you're listening on the podcast, he keeps saying the wrong country, and Kamala Harris keeps leaning in to tell him the right one.
Yes, their depiction of
the depiction of it. Yeah.
Kamala Harris.
President of Russia. Putin.
No, I don't want to. I don't care why it cats me out. No, do not autoplay. Anyways, so I mean, obviously, the world has taken notice when even their sketch comedy shows this guy's senile, saying the wrong things, and has to be constantly corrected. I mean, the gaffes are hilarious. However, this is the leader of the free world. This isn't my funny grandpa who I like to film and put on YouTube.
Well, and here's the thing is, for 4 years, we dealt with them trying to say that this is exactly what was happening to Trump.
Oh, of course.
Because...
he's demented. He's going to start war with Russia.
Well, and most of the time, his tweets were like, okay, that's his opinion on something.
Yep.
Or he would throw out something, and it was almost like an intentional troll. Because the Kofifi thing...
Oh, that was great. There's a whole backstory to that. I put on my tinfoil sombrero and talk about the translation that Google literally removed from their Arabic translator so that they couldn't see what he was saying, because that is actually a word, and it actually made sense in context. Well, we won't go there.
If they want to go ahead and say that that's the way that Trump was acting, so he needed to be, removed from office, he's not a fit leading president. Okay, I don't agree with it, but I see where their stance is coming from. But then you cannot turn around and back somebody who has serious signs that they're
signs.
having some.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even from the sketch, we saw the bit about where he said Russia. Then he says, I want to talk about the president of Russia, Putin. Yeah, Putin. Putin, listen to me.
Yeah.
I have a very important message for you. The message is, Biden says before falling asleep while standing up. After being nudged awake by Harris, Biden continues, and the president of China. Oh, we didn't finish Russia?
Yeah.
Biden then mistakenly calls Harris the first lady before once again falling asleep. Harris then grabs the president and pulls him off stage while telling reporters to clap your president right now. It is hilarious how incompetent and senile this individual is, but at the same time, it is incredibly sad that this is the leader of our country.
Yes.
And yeah, it just comes to a point. It just comes to a point where you're like, okay, can we get Grandpa back to the nursing home? I can't believe this
we
at
need
this
to.
point. Just think. Though you say what you will about President Trump, but literally everybody can agree the reason they did not like him, 2 words: mean tweets. That's it. They literally overthrew the MAGA movement because of mean tweets.
I know.
And now what do we have? In place of, and I'm just going to say this again, mean tweets, we have record inflation, potential World War III, invasions, starvation, supply chain issues, talk of famine? Biden said the word famine the other day. Eesh. Mean tweets, people. That's what it was. But wow, we had to show some of these silly things because this is what the world sees us as now.
Well, it looks like Newsweek just turned around and did a, what is that thing that you watch, r/roast me or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
Where it's, I mean, he asked for this.
He asked for this? He doesn't even know where he is.
I mean, the
only thing he's asking for is his binky and his blanky.
The statements and stuff that he does.
Yeah.
I stop getting out in front of people.
I mean, his entire campaign was basically, the entire message of his campaign was, he's not Trump, and he's in bed by 10 a.m.
Yeah.
That's it. We got a cap on the dead. We got to live for the day, people. We're done. And it's like, okay, no one showed up to the rallies, because he, like you said, he does terribly in front of people. No one showed up to his rallies. No one cared about him. It was literally what was the phrasing from that Atlantic article? We need your, stay alive, Joe Biden. We need your corporeal form. That's all they needed. They needed a meat puppet who was not Trump, and that's what they got.
Yeah.
And now we're all paying for it. And you know what? That's a good spot to end video number 1, which was a little lighthearted. The TLDR, dangerous as it may be, is Sonic 2 is great if you've got kids. If you don't have kids and you're, I don't know, looking for a way to kill 2 hours and you played the games growing up like me, you actually would appreciate most of it, because most of it is pretty direct from the games. It's a really good way to do like nods and winks where they're not blatant, you know?
Yes.
So that, and of course,
enjoy those increase in stickers that you see at the local gas pumps, because I feel like that might be coming out more often.
Oh, I hope they do. I really do. So we are going to just put a cap on video number 1. We're going to hop into oh boy, the inflation numbers that came out that we were warned about from Miss Psaki yesterday. I read it. I didn't watch it. And
I read it. I didn't want to hear what she had to say. I needed to know what she was going to say, but I didn't want to hear her say it.
I did not want to hear her spin it. I would rather just read the words.
It was really, so I watched part of it.
Well, hey. We'll talk about it in the video for it.
Yes.
Let's hop to that video. So I'm going to go ahead and end this one. Thank you all. Feel free to do what the awesome little icon says. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Yes, and follow us for part 2.
Exactly. We're hopping over to part 2 now, so we will be back momentarily.